Hey everyone, so today I am making something that I desperately needed for my garage, for my supplies. I needed some hold down clamps because mine were giving out on the CNC machine, and I also needed some push blocks for the jointer because I still have not, well, I've used it now, but I still had not used it because I was terrified I was going to hurt myself. And so with the hold down clamps, the little ones on the side that are in a pile, those ones have not all been sanded. Some of them have. They still have tabs on them, that kind of thing. But I learned how to make those from IDC Woodcraft, which is Garrett Fromm. And then I created the bigger ones on my own. I don't even know if I can use them. We will see. I'm going to try. And then as you can see in the back behind the larger hold down clamps, there are two push blocks, and I created those handles with my hubby's help, and the base, and used grip tape to give it the grip so that way they don't just slide off of the board that I'm trying to push onto the jointer. And I made those ones out of walnut. The hold down clamps are made out of plywood. And here you can see the first part of it is going to be a pocket, and I go down halfway through the plywood, and it just creates that lower part of the hold down clamp. Also, I am using a 1/4 inch upcut EndMill for this. In fact, you know what? This might be a down cut because it's not leaving it frayed on the top. I think I did just use the down cut for the whole thing. It's hard to remember. But anyways, here it is doing a profile, and it is cutting all the way through, so it starts at half depth of my material, which is what that pocket was milled down to. And then it goes through all the way through the bottom, not getting my table, of course, but it cuts through the material. And now we're going to go through and do our cutout, which is also a profile toolpath. I did add tabs because I did not use tape to hold anything down. And as you can see, my hold down clamps are pretty rotten. They're holding it down though. They were still doing their job. Some of them I had to glue some pieces back together. It's fine. But I went through and I cut all of them out and sanded what I needed to use on the table for now. And here they are. Don't they look so pretty and new? So here I am cutting out the handles for my push blocks. I'm so excited. It was a little hard to design these things because I wasn't real sure because I didn't have something to just hold on to. I was just designing it in V-Carve Pro. But I used a 1/4 inch EndMill for that as well, and then tabs, and then I just sand them, get them all nice and pretty and smooth. And I have a couple of pictures going through there showing you, how I was deciding to make them. And then my husband said, hey, why don't you add a little oval part to where your fingers would set, because that's the shape of your fingers. And I was like, oh, that's a good idea. So I did. And you know what? I think it was a great idea, because I feel like if it wouldn't have been there, it would have been like you were trying to grip, but there wasn't much of a grip with your fingers. So I think it was perfect. The thumb part, I think I could change, but maybe when I need some new ones, I'll switch that little design on the thumb piece. But otherwise, it turned out pretty good. The walnut is absolutely beautiful. They were just scraps I had. Oh, here I am showing how I made my marks for a mortise and tenon. And I gotta tell you, this was my first mortise and tenon, and it's not the prettiest mortise and tenon. But I made my marks of where I wanted the cuts to be, the depth I wanted it to be, and that's how I determined that I would put this on the router table and route out the areas that I needed gone. And so that's what I did. And I did make a mistake because there is a little hole behind the bit. So you'll see that here pretty soon. I was kind of sad. I think it still was pretty good for my first mortise and tenon. There it is. Wah. That's pretty much what I sounded like when it happened. But I'm over it now. It's hidden. But it's still not the prettiest mortise and tenon you've ever seen. I can promise you that. Whenever I would go for the little pieces, because I started using the ruler to keep it from going in that hole, but I wasn't paying attention and I didn't have the handle held all the way down, and so the front and the back are raised a little bit because I accidentally milled that right off or routed it off or whatever you want to call it, and hurt my feelings, but it's okay. I seriously love my push blocks. Alright, they're all done, so now it's time to create the little female part of that joint. And so I go back to the CNC machine because why not? I went ahead and got my depths and I got all of my measurements, and I measured more than once. In fact, I probably measured 3 or 4 times, I'm not even sure, but I measured a lot because I wanted to make sure that I got it as accurate as possible. I went ahead and did a pocket tool path with a 1/4 inch EndMill, and it creates a round little notch in there, and so I did have to shave off the corners of the little piece that I did on the router table because it wouldn't fit. And after I did that, I could get it to fit. That was the first one, and I just kind of tried it off camera because I was scared I was going to ruin it, and I didn't. I did good. And then I go through and show you what I did. I also used my Dremel tool to sand parts of that. It wasn't that great. I should have just used my detail sander, the Milwaukee detail sander, because it created like these weird little bumps, and so then I was hand sanding to try to get those smooth. I did clean out the pocket with an X-Acto knife, and also, I guess it's called a rasp, but I call it a chisel. Don't hate me. I don't care. It has a pointy end, okay? So I go through and I get all of that done, and then I start working on the handle part of it to get it to fit inside the hole. Alright, look how pretty. So pretty. Now I'm just gluing them up so that way I can clamp them, hold them together, and then once they're, and I used a lot of glue to hopefully make sure everything is held tightly together, because I want these to last for a long time, for as long as I possibly can have them, because I think they're so pretty. I've seen push blocks, at Woodcraft and other places, and they're usually bright yellow, and I'm not a fan. So I think these are really pretty. Um, I think they're way prettier than the yellow push blocks. I'm sure those yellow push blocks are awesome though. I just don't like the color. And that's terrible, I know, but I hate them. Um, I think the walnut is so much prettier. I do need to put a finish on it, but I'm scared to use oil because I'm scared it'll keep that adhesive that I use on the bottom or the grip tape from working, and I don't want that to happen. I could just spray them, but I would prefer to oil them, so I don't know. I'm still thinking on it right now. Haven't made up my mind yet, but I go through with the detail sander and just kind of clean up any little bits of glue that may have been left even after I washed it off. And then I wipe all the dust, and then I get to the grip tape. And the grip tape is pretty stinking awesome. I got it from Home Depot. I had the hardest time finding it. I don't know where you find it at your store, but it was by the paint in mine. So the 3M grip tape, it's 4 inches wide, which my blocks are 4 inches. They're 4 inches by 6 or 6.5 inches, I can't remember, but really cute and comfortable and practical. And so, that's what matters. So you just kind of get that on there and try to push it. It holds pretty tight. The grip tape is awesome. I saw someone make them. They made them like they really know what they're doing. They made like all kinds of stuff and used some kind of sandpaper. I don't know. But I just used grip tape. Hopefully that's okay. They didn't use a CNC machine either, so. But here it goes. All done. I do need to figure out how to properly push the wood on there, though. It just scares me. Thanks for watching.